Welcome to my latest studio upgrade project brought to you by COVID. I've embarked on a bunch of these to just keep my mind active during the lockdown. Here's the context. I used to have my Furman up here, but those lights are also crap, as you guys know, and I didn't really fancy the idea of running AC all up over every electrical connection here. I mean, audio connection for the possibility of hum, which I was suffering. So I moved it down to the bottom rack like many people do. This opened up a one rack high space. I tried this. I owned one of these things when they were being manufactured. I didn't like it then. Didn't like it anymore now. Plus the eBay seller lied to me. He said it was working fine. It wasn't. There was a serious electrical intermittency. I had to tear this apart and resolder the wall wart socket. You can change colors. Ooh, isn't that pretty? You can also set it so it'll automatically change on its own. But the bottom line is that it doesn't cast any light. And I'm kind of tired of looking at it, this glow. Some might think it's cool, I don't. And all it is basically is fiber optics, right? And then I measured it, and my suspicions were correct. Half-inch OD is a standard size for lucite tubing. Opened up an idea, keep on watching. Just a little bit more context here. This is my performance synthesizer, populated largely with, as you would expect, Plan B modules taken from the Beast. You'll notice that that cabinet is still relatively empty. That's not the important part, but if you are curious about this, there's a separate video on this system which I go through it module by module. I'll link it in the comments below. But I had a small problem in that a lot of the halls I was playing in were relatively dark, and I needed to be able to illuminate the faceplate graphics so I could see what I was doing. And I came up with what I feel is a pretty elegant solution. This is nothing more than a piece of 1-inch angled aluminum, and I've adhered inside two of the LED strips you can find on Amazon relatively cheaply, wired it together electrically with the termination TRRS 4-conductor, 3.5 millimeter, like you'll find on your older Apple cell phones and on current Samsungs, routed through the gooseneck, microphone gooseneck, and terminating in the back here with a wall wart. Now, I have two rows of lights here. The blue ones are on the shelf, but you'll notice how well the pink lights coming from that bar light up this faceplate. And I'm going to incorporate this system on my current rack light. Okay, I'm starting to get the raw materials I need to build the rack light. This is a piece of 1/2-inch outer diameter acrylic tubing. This is a piece of 1/2-inch outer diameter acrylic rod. I'm going to replace that rod with this tubing, two pieces, about 3.5 inches on either side. And in the center, I'm going to bolt the lighting element. The beauty of using tubing, of course, is I have an escape cavity for the wires. The 4 wires required to drive the LEDs that are going to run on one side through this housing, which is going to be empty because there'll be no printed circuit board in any longer, and out to the back where it's going to terminate with the light microcontroller. I've already started, if you can see that, filing a clearance cavity for the wires to exit, so they'll still be undamaged and not misplaced when I'm swiveling the acrylic rod. Let me show you how I can connect the extrusion. So here we have the 1-inch by 1-inch aluminum angle. Here's my 1/2-inch diameter acrylic rod. Math tells you there's a 1/4-inch clearance on either side. That's where my 1/4-inch standoffs come in play. We're going to adhere a couple, or fix a couple of them per side, bolted through the plexiglass, the acrylic and the extrusion. The nice part about using flatheads is the conical shape will probably be perfect for the inner diameter of the lucite tubing. So That's gonna bolt in the center, and let's find out in a second how effective it all is. I got my 1-inch 90-degree angle aluminum in, and they shipped me the wrong stuff. This is twice as thick as I needed. I really didn't want to do this myself, but I'm doing it. I'm a little bit over halfway done. God, I hate doing this, but this is the proper thickness. If I had used this, it wouldn't have been centered on the lucite tube and it would have looked like crap. Well, there it is. I've just jury-rigged it together to check the mechanical design to make sure it does what I needed to do, and it's fine. Let me explain how this is going to operate. So this is what you're going to see when it's mounted. This entire assembly is going to rotate fore and aft so I can tune the lights for best reflection down the faceplates of the rack equipment. It's about 40 inches, so it's going to be a challenge. But I know these LEDs have the luminosity to do the job. I don't know about you, but I'm a 99.9% type of person. I always screw up a little bit. This time I just happened to pick the end of the angle aluminum that has this stupid label. I don't know why they use such permanent adhesive, but they do. I don't know why they don't stick them to the insides, but they do. So I'll have to soak that off. It's no big deal. This is really scratched up. That's how it came. So I'm gonna have to put some wet sandpaper to it anyway to revitalize the finish. It's not perfectly centered. It's not even close. I'm not sure that's a problem for me, but if it is, there's a way to fix it. Let me explain, and let me explain the business and the back end. These white flakes are shards of lucite after I drilled the 2 holes. There's 2 pieces on each end, about just shy of 3 inches long, about 275. I've drilled 2 holes in each with 440 screws into 1/4-inch nylon standoffs with 2 bolts on the back end, attaching the reflection light assembly to the axle here, okay? These are nylon standoffs. If I wanted to be more centered, I can always cut those down. But again, I'm not sure it's gonna bother me. I do notice that it swivels a little bit too easily, so I might have to stuff some newspaper or something in there just to give it some torque, some friction, so this, I know, in time is gonna become a problem. Pardon the dog here. While I wait for my latte to cool, let me give you a summary of where I am right now. I have refinished the outside of the aluminum using 220 grit, a little bit of green Scotch-Brite, a little bit of water as a catalyst. I have polished the inside of the track with metal polish to enhance how it reflects light back. I've adhered the 2 LED strips, wired them in series, wired them to the outside world. So this is our 18 RGB LEDs running off 12 volts at only 150 ohm current limit. You work Ohm's law. That's plenty of luminosity to light up my rack. I even wrote my wire color cheat notes on the back of the controller. How you like that? I've gone with brass oversized washers, not because I had to, just this aesthetic decision. I have 1 part I'm waiting for. It says it's gonna arrive by 10 p.m. My luck, that will mean 9:58. To fix a physics problem. I've created an unbalanced wheel, and gravity owns us. So I have too much counterweight, too far away from the axis, and it's always swiveling down. Eureka, my idea worked. I was pretty sure it would, but I don't have any formal training in mechanical engineering, but I thought it through, and I came up with what I feel is a pretty simple, pretty elegant solution to a problem that made this completely unfunctional to me. Let me explain, it's really easy to do. You see that? I had created a counterbalance off the center of gravity on that lucite axle. Because these move so freely through the clearance holes in the hubs, and this is the weighted end, it was just flipping 180 degrees, and that's not what I need. So what I did was, is I got a 1/2 inch by 2.5 inch rubber band, wrapped it around the lucite tubing in the hub, popped it out the back, and used another piece of lucite tubing to hold tension. And it works great. It's a little bit springy. See that? I'll get used to that very quickly. It's completely functional. I'll be able to tune the light wherever I need it. So the only thing left to do is to wire up the controller electronics, put it in the rack, and show you how well illuminated it is. Well, there you go. It works, and it works quite well. I'm really pleased. I've got this light's normally on, so I've dimmed the lights a little bit in the studio just to amplify its effect here. But look, it is picking out the edge of the Bryson on the bottom of the rack, and it's not even at full intensity. I can change the hue. I can change between hues and have a cross rate. I can lower and raise the brightness using a standard remote control by going around the back. And it was really cheap. Let's see, $6 for the angle aluminum, $3 for the lucite tubing, $5 for rubber bands, and I only needed one of them. I guess my next video will be on a really big rubber band ball. And the lousy old fiber optic rack light was 20 bucks used and broken on eBay. So project complete. Thank you for watching.